Hello again, and welcome back to the Automating Everything series. Last time out, we created an iron and redstone farm using crushed up cobbled crimsite, and it's been generating quite a bit of iron in the time since then. As well, I've also gone ahead and built buildings for them. We shall look at them now. The first one I did, it's actually not this one, we'll come back to this in a moment, trust me. But the first one I did over here was this building. I used mangrove wood in like these kind of brick bond textures, just all on the walls, and these are framed panels to kind of give it some depth. And it looks pretty nice, and it kind of fits what it does in here. Now you may notice, oh hey, this has 2 floors. What's on the second floor? Well, since last episode, I've done quite a few adjustments to the system. I wouldn't necessarily call them full-on changes. But let me go ahead and go into this other room here. This is basically just another set of extruders. This allows it to keep up with the consumption rate of our grinding wheels over there. I also gave them brass funnels because then I can control how many it drops at a time, and I make each of them drop 4 at a time as opposed to 1 at a time to avoid clogging the belts. So, moving on to our actual grinding room. I added another pair of grinding wheels in the middle there. It was kind of a little complex to get set up, but I managed it. It just comes through, all of it separates in this brass tunnel to go up here, up there, and then straight into that set. What this has resulted in, though, is that as soon as it's done processing a stack, it will pretty much immediately get a new one. So it's running at basically peak performance, which is great. As for the building, I'm using mushroom stemmed here from like chipped. You can see up here that I'm using various textures as well as just the normal mushroom stem. That it gives like this kind of creamy color in a way. It's like, you know, it's hard to describe, but it looks pretty nice. And then I have these white square windows which look nice too. On the inside, this looks pretty cool as well. I just have these bridges from McCaw's Bridges and stairs to lead up to them. I've been using them quite a bit. They look really nice for things like this. This is just like a balcony, and I made like iron ore piles essentially to look like the crushed iron kind of laid around, you know, that stuff. That leaves us with the final building. This our windmill here. Now, inside here, most of things have remained unchanged. I added basically more fans here just so we could keep up with the processing over there, but there's not much on the second floor here. It's just kind of where you access the fans, and then the rest of this is basically structure. Because I didn't really feel like giving all this walls when it didn't really feel necessary, and I wouldn't use the space anyhow. It's mainly just this first floor. And in the time since the last time, this has produced a lot of redstone and iron. Like, we have 1.7 million iron nuggets here. That's insane amount of nuggets. So I think it's about time we start to use these nuggets and iron and redstone and that sort of thing. I would like to make use of trains. Last series I didn't get to do so very well, so I want to change that this series. In order to do that, I'm thinking right back here is a good spot for it. It's kind of like a nice little area. It's fairly small, and I don't need a ton of space to generate rails. So I can basically easily enough just ship the iron nuggets from here, maybe on a belt that just goes up or something. It's hard to say for certain, because the way I have built this unfortunately means that it's kind of constrained here, so I need to figure out a way to take the nuggets out and then take them around and all that stuff. But I think it'd be neat to kind of ship it out the side of this building here down into wherever it's going. In addition, courtesy of Create Steam and Rails, I believe it's called, we can use dark oak rails as opposed to just, you know, the normal rails. So I want to go ahead and take dark oak slabs from our farm over here in some way or another. I might just take logs and take them over here somehow to then convert them into rails. The methods by which I'll do this, I'm not entirely sure. We'll see how that goes. For now though, I am gonna go ahead and start figuring that out. I'm like debating between using proper trains and maybe just using kind of minecarts in a way. It's kind of hard to say. So yeah, I'll do some work on it and see where we get. Okay, so I went ahead and created a narrow gauge track that goes all the way around behind the building there and comes up to here. Up here we just have a few crafters which craft the wooden slabs automatically, coming from the same wood sources from the other source for the framed blocks. It just goes into a buffer here to then get loaded into a portable storage interface. What I wanted to do here was to make the train with you. So if we take this and we can hold Alt and look at alternative styles of axle. I'm gonna go with, there's like these, this is just for the wide ones, but I want to go with this narrow double Scotch yoke one, because it kind of, I think I need to click on it. There we go. You know, it's a big thing. Although it's kind of large, isn't it? I think maybe we do just go with the standard, like that. Alright, so we have that. We need our portable storage interface, which that should be enough space. We need item vaults to hold the things, and I want controls in either direction as well as a seat. So this is the basic structure of our train here, and I'll probably make it look nice. But for now, I just want it to function. So if we click assemble train, there you go. We're gonna call this slab train, I suppose. Slab train. So if we hop onto here, we should be able to just ride it over. It actually is so tall that it hits that. Good to know. Yeah, it just goes to here. So I haven't finished this part yet, but I'm working on that. So then we can use the other controls to take us back, because this is basically going to be a train that goes directly back and forth. I'm not going to have it do any loops. So yeah. If we have it approach the station again, there we go. So yeah, this is our little train. Now I am debating whether maybe the other type works actually. So if we go over here, let's get rid of that and replace it with this style. Yeah, I think that works. It makes it more of a unit. Alright, so then the next thing is to set up a train schedule and get this thing set up over on the other side there. Okay, so going to the other side here, I've done just a little tiny bit of work, just a little. I've gone ahead and set up just a vault here which can collect the slabs as they come in here. And matter of speaking, we get our sheep ran train here. It drains these slabs out and into this vault where they'll be used to make our 3 different tracks. So I'm kind of still working on how I want this to look. I'm debating with a more open style, like it's just a little sheltered, with the production kind of just open, or something more constrained. It's hard to say which for sure, but something between those two. Now there are 3 gauges of track. If I go over here, there is the normal gauge track, then narrow, and wide. And I want to like automate the creation of all 3 since they're relatively easy to automate. If we look at the normal track, you know, it's just our slabs and then deploy nuggets and press it. Alright, easy enough. If we want to make the narrow gauge track, then if we look at, say this one, we take our slab, we cut it, we deploy a nugget, and we press it. The wide gauge track, meanwhile, we take a normal track, we cut it, we add a slab, and we press it. So for the wide gauge, we're going to have to rely on the normal track production. But for the narrow gauge, it can do itself. So I think it'd be best if we have like one going this way essentially for normal or for narrow gauge, and then we have a bigger production like here that goes kind of here and adjacent to it, where it'll take the slabs out make the normal tracks, split them, so half go to, you know, creating our just normal tracks, while the other half go to wide gauge. Alternatively, maybe I just, you know, do... Why is he going back and forth? Something might be wrong. I'll have to check on that. I'll have to do it, or if I could just do it where it's making basically tracks specifically for wide gauge and then normal tracks as well. As for the layout and look of things, considering I'm kind of leaning towards just going a gravelly look almost, hence why I've kind of dug this general area out. But I'll have to dwell on that a bit. It's not the most important thing. Alright, so it's been a little bit. I've spent some time just kind of doing this, and then by the time it was completed, I lost track of time and didn't think to record things as things progressed, as is often. But I'll go ahead and show you the system now. Over here, I've got, you know, this big kind of gravel patch using various materials, but I've got all tracks automated now. They're all being made simultaneously by this big system. It looks pretty neat. It all is powered by, it's connected to our iron farm here, so it's just I had to add more water wheels. I probably actually need to get a steam engine going soon because yeah, that's the amount that a steam engine produces. So anyway, up at the top first, I'll start with that because that's the easiest to explain. At the top we have a bunch of belts that distribute the iron nuggets. Just to various chutes to the deployers. That's basically all that does up there. Let's look at the narrow gauge first. So for narrow gauge, we just need the slabs, and then they get sent over here, cut, deploy an iron nugget, and smacked basically. And it works at a pretty good rate. Normal tracks, it's just deploying iron nuggets twice on the things and then smacking them, so that was fine. The most difficult one was this one, because we of course need to make normal tracks and then convert them into wide gauge tracks. But we now do that, and the way I decided to do this was also using a mechanical arm. Because, okay, we make our normal tracks and that needs nuggets, but for the second stage, making the wide tracks, we need slabs in here. And that would be really annoying to get to without just using a mechanical arm. So we have a thing over here with a depot that just drops slabs straight onto here, so then the mechanical arm can go ahead and grab them and just keep popping them into the deployer. And it gets smacked and then it goes in here. So I can now make wide tracks too. Which that should be fun. I'm unsure what I'll use the wide tracks for, but I'm sure I'll use them for something. So yeah, this should help. This should go a long way in the future here. And we'll make extensive use of our iron nuggets, of which we have a lot. Up here is a item vault, which is holding like a bunch of the nuggets as a buffer. And up here, if I go in here, we have just a simple tube that connects straight upward with a fan at top. It pulls nuggets out, and then they get taken out all on this belt to go into the vault, for basically as a buffer. So yeah, that's how the system came out. It's working quite well. I'm quite proud of it. It honestly came out way cleaner than I might have expected. It's still like a little messy. It's a bit spaghetti-y, but it's I think it looks pretty nice. So yeah, I believe we're gonna end the episode here though. I might work on the aesthetics of this more. Certainly this can't just be floating here, but for now I think I'm gonna end it there because this took a bit to make, and I kind of want to get another episode up, and then I'll do another thing next time. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. Also, I wanted to mention, if you ever have suggestions or things you want to see automated, within reason, of course, I'm not going to be like automating netherite or something like that, feel free to suggest them in the comments, because, you never know. I, of course, will also be automating things myself too, but just in case you want to see something, I could add that as a part of the episode, because sometimes I tend to be running around the world here, unsure of what to do next, and it would be good to have a sort of motivation or a direction. So yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.